Hey guys, it's Adrian over at BHA here, bringing you a new video. So the great folks over at GeekSmart sent me over another one of their awesome new smart door locks to show you guys. Now this one's pretty cool because not only does it have the number pad and the key fob reader, but it also has a fingerprint reader as well. That makes this thing super cool, and you're going to want to check it out. Here we go. All right, so you can pick this thing up on Amazon from the GeekSmart storefront for about 140 bucks, which is a pretty sweet deal. It comes in black and silver, so you got a couple of different options there. But again, we're going to get this thing installed, get it added into the TTLock app on my phone, and I'll show you how it all works. So let's get started. Alright, so let's get this lock unboxed here. As you can see, lots of information on the outside of the box, has all the info on what is coming in the box, as well as the capabilities of the lock itself. Let's get this lid off here. Right off the top, we got the instructions on how to get this thing installed and added into the app. All right, we got the key cards here. It comes with 2 of those. Let's see, we got the deadbolt, and then of course just the regular keys for the deadbolt as well. All right, so here is the keypad. So the numbers are all touch all the way around, and then it has a fingerprint reader in the middle, which makes this thing super cool. All right, here is the inside part of the lock. This is where the batteries will house, and of course the exterior keypad will plug into this. And that looks like about everything that comes in the box itself. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and we'll get this thing installed. All right, so I'm going to be installing this new lock here on my front door. And basically, I'm replacing an older GeekSmart lock that I already had installed. In fact, I did a video on this previously, and it'll be in the link up in the top corner if you want to check out the original video on this lock. As you can see here, we now have the old lock removed, and this new one will just kind of go right in its place. First things first, we're going to do the deadbolt, and here that is. Once we have the deadbolt in, then we are ready to install the exterior touchpad. And this will screw to a mounting plate that's on the inside of the door. And as you can see, the cord kind of sticks through there, and this is what will plug into that inside unit. Here in this clip here is where the cable is actually plugged in to that inside unit. And basically this will kind of sit right there on the pin, and then we'll just screw it into that mounting plate. And then in this last clip, this is the lock fully installed. Of course, the 4 AA batteries will go underneath that lid right there on the inside unit, and that will power everything up. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step, and we'll get this thing added into the TTLock app on my phone. So adding this lock to the TTLock app on my phone is actually pretty easy to do. As you can see, I already have a couple of other locks installed, but we're just going to click on Add Lock here in the menu, and from there we can select a new door lock. Now it wants us to activate the lock. So in order to do that, we just hit a button on the keypad, which should cause it to light up. And as you can see, it shows all the locks that are nearby, and now we are able to hit that plus next to the one here at the top, which is kind of the new one that's highlighted there. And boom, now we have it added and we can assign it a new name other than the default serial number it has initially. I'm going to call it front door since that is where we installed it. Here we can select what direction the door is going to open. So mine opens to the right, so that is what I have selected here. But that's pretty much it. It's now added to the app on my phone. Initially it shows as ungrouped, so I can go into the settings here if I want and add it to the same group as my other locks. And then lastly, let's go ahead and set up a passcode for this lock. So I'm going to create a custom code here, so we'll call it main. There we go. We now have created a code for this lock. Initial setup is complete. Let's go ahead and move on to the next step and we'll go over the config in the app. So first things first, I want to make sure that my gateway that I have set up, which allows me to control my locks remotely, has the new lock added. As you can see here, the gateway has all 3 locks associated with it, so my new one is added correctly. So I think we're good to go there. So here we are in the main screen for the new lock. Along the bottom are the main buttons that allow you to configure, let's see, the E keys if you want, create new passcodes, which you saw me do previously. We can configure the little key fob cards that came with it, as well as set up fingerprints using that new fingerprint reader. We can also add remotes if we want. We can set up the authorized admin for this lock, as well as look at the recent history of who has locked and unlocked the lock. If we click on the settings here, right here at the top is the basics, and that's where it shows you information like the serial number, the MAC address, the battery status, what group the lock's in, all kinds of stuff like that. If you want to add a keypad, you can do that here. We also have the ability to set up door sensors, that way you will get status updates as the door is open and closed. If you have a gateway configured, then here's where you will enable the remote unlock, which would allow you to unlock the door remotely. You can also enable auto lock, which means that once the door is open and closed, after a certain amount of time, the lock will automatically lock back. Passage mode, to me, I think of more as a business feature. If you had a business, then you could enable passage mode and the door would remain unlocked during that time frame. Let's see, under lock sound is where we set the volume for the sounds that the lock makes as it's speaking to let you know that the door is locked or unlocked. You could also turn that off here as well. Let's see, we got privacy lock, which is enabled by default. And here is the reset button, which you actually have to enable if you want to be able to use the reset button to default the lock. Other than that, you can change the door configuration if you needed to, if you were moving this lock to a different location or something like that. You can modify the lock clock, so that default time that the clock runs on, you can configure that here and calibrate it. As for the rest of it, you have the ability to do firmware updates. There is setup for Alexa, Google Home, as well as enable notifications. That way you'll get an alert when the lock is locked or unlocked. But that's about it as far as settings and configuration goes in the TTLock app. Let's go ahead and move on to the last step and I will go over my final thoughts. All right, so my final thoughts. Now this lock, like I said, for 140 bucks is actually not that bad of a deal. If you consider it's got the number pad and the fact that it handles key fobs, remotes, passcodes using the number pad, as well as the new fingerprint reader, which is right there in the middle, this thing is pretty cool. And the fact that it's easy to install, I mean, it did not take long at all. You popped off the existing deadbolt lock and put in the new one, it went very quickly, very easily. It runs on AA batteries, which you're not having to go find some obscure battery to power this thing. So that's pretty nice as well. Definitely worth checking out if you're looking for some smart locks. Again, I have the video from my original lock that I did from GeekSmart last year, and it actually has details on how to get this thing added into Home Assistant. If you're interested in something like that, you'll want to check out that video as well. I'll have a link to GeekSmart's website in the description below. If you're not interested in this lock, head over to their website. I guarantee you'll find something that you do like. As always, I want to thank everybody for donating to my Buy Me a Coffee link. Every little bit helps. If you haven't had a chance, head over to my spring merchandise page and check out all of the Burns home automation merchandise. And if you're looking for the latest smart home technology, you're going to want to check out SMONet. I'll have a link in the description below to their website. Go over there and see what deals they currently have running. And if you're looking for the latest smart home technology for your windows and window treatment, look at SmartWings. I'll have a link in the description below for them as well. And if you go over there, you can see what deals they currently have running. And if you're interested in buying and selling stock or maybe cryptocurrency, check out Robinhood. I'll have a link in the description below for that as well. And if you sign up with that link, you and I both will get a free share of stock. It's a win-win for both of us. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions or comments, hit me up in the comments below. As always, if there are any videos out there that you would like to see that I don't already have out there, let me know in the comments as well, and I'll see if I can't get something put together for you guys. Otherwise, I'll see you guys around.